Hi, I'm Scarlett. I teach third grade at Westbrook Elementary, where glitter mysteriously appears in places it shouldn't, and someone's always crying about something. Last week, I was grading spelling tests when my phone rang with news that changed everything. Miss Scarlett Mitchell, this is Theodore Walsh from Walsh and Associates. I'm calling regarding your father's estate. My hand froze mid-grade on little Emma's misspelling of beautiful. My father, Richard, had passed away 3 weeks ago after a sudden heart attack. We weren't particularly close these past few years, but there had always been a quiet understanding between us. After Mom died when I was 12, Dad did his best raising my brother and me on his own. There will be a reading of the will tomorrow at 3 p.m. at our offices. Your presence is requested. I spent that night staring at my apartment ceiling, surrounded by IKEA furniture I'd assembled myself and framed posters from art museum gift shops. Teaching doesn't exactly make you rich, but I'd always been proud of making it on my own. The next day at the law office, I sat in a leather chair that probably cost more than my monthly rent. The lawyer adjusted his glasses and began reading. To my daughter, Scarlett Lynn Mitchell, I leave my primary residence at 1423 Oakwood Drive, my investment portfolio currently valued at approximately $2.4 million, and all personal effects contained within the home. My jaw literally dropped. Dad had always lived modestly. I had no idea he had that kind of money. Holy shit, Scar, Claire squealed later that night, spilling wine on my second-hand couch. You're loaded now. Claire's been my best friend since college, the kind who shows up with ice cream after breakups and tells you when you have spinach in your teeth. She was more excited than I was. I still can't believe it. I keep thinking there's been some mistake. No mistake. Your dad was secretly rich, and now you are too. I'm thinking shopping spree, fancy vacation, maybe a new car that doesn't make that weird clicking sound? I shook my head. I need time to process this. It doesn't feel real. What about your brother? Did he get anything? I sighed, thinking about Marcus. 4 years older, always Dad's golden boy. At least that's how it felt growing up. We barely spoke these days except for awkward holiday gatherings. He got Dad's vintage car collection and some property in Colorado. Seemed fine with it at the reading. 3 days later, while I was boxing up some of Dad's clothes for donation, the doorbell rang. A courier handed me an envelope. Legal documents for Scarlett Mitchell. Inside was a formal letter from a law firm I didn't recognize. As I read it, my blood turned to ice. As the firstborn son of Richard Mitchell, my client Marcus Mitchell is invoking his right as primary heir to all family assets. We contest the validity of the current will and assert that all inheritance, including the primary residence and financial holdings, rightfully belong to Marcus Mitchell by virtue of his position as firstborn child. I sank onto the stairs, letter trembling in my hands. The house I was sitting in, the money, everything Dad had left me. Marcus was claiming it all because he was born first. Like we were living in some medieval kingdom with primogeniture laws. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Nothing personal, sis, just what's right. Dad always meant for me to have everything anyway. I called James Hammond, Dad's attorney, the next morning. My hands were still shaking. I need to meet with you today. It's urgent. 2 hours later, I was sitting in James's office, sliding Marcus's legal notice across his desk. He adjusted his glasses, scanning the document with increasing disbelief. This is preposterous. Your father's will is crystal clear and legally binding. Richard was of sound mind when he signed it just last year. So Marcus has no legal claim? None whatsoever. This is intimidation, plain and simple. James pulled out a thick folder. Your father anticipated this might happen. He left explicit instructions and documentation to protect your inheritance. Why would Dad expect this? Your father understood Marcus better than you might think. He kept meticulous records of money he'd loaned your brother over the years, loans that were never repaid. James handed me copies of checks and signed IOUs totaling over $300,000. My phone buzzed with another text from Marcus. Think about it carefully, Scarlett. You don't want to fight me on this. As I left James's office, my phone rang. Aunt Olivia, Dad's sister. I heard about Marcus's legal notice. I'm not surprised. Come over for dinner tonight. There are things you need to know. At Olivia's house, she poured me a generous glass of wine. Your brother has always felt entitled to everything. When your grandparents passed, he tried pulling the same stunt with your father's share of their estate. I had no idea. I had no idea. Of course not. Your father protected you from Marcus's uglier side. Last Christmas, Marcus came to Richard begging for another loan. His real estate business is failing. Badly. Your father refused. How bad is his business? Near bankruptcy, from what I understand. He's been hiding it from everyone, including his business partner. My phone lit up with a call from Claire. Have you seen Marcus's Facebook post? He's telling everyone you manipulated your dad on his deathbed to change the will. I checked social media and felt sick. Marcus had posted a long, emotionally charged story about how I'd taken advantage of our father's deteriorating mental state. Complete fiction. While scrolling through comments, I noticed someone named Daniel Walsh defending me. This doesn't sound like the Richard Mitchell I knew. He was sharp as a tack until the end. I looked up Daniel Walsh, Marcus's business partner at Mitchell Walsh Properties. I called him immediately. Daniel, this is Scarlett Mitchell, Marcus's sister. Scarlett, I've been wanting to talk to you. Something strange is happening with the company finances. Like what? Money missing from accounts. Investors pulling out suddenly. Marcus claims everything's fine, but our quarterly reports don't add up. Would you be willing to meet with me? There's something you should know about my brother. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Java Junction. After hanging up, my phone rang again. Marcus. Drop this now, or I'll make your life a living hell. You're threatening me now? I'm giving you a chance to walk away before things get ugly. I need that money, and I will get it. His desperation confirmed everything. This wasn't about birthright. It was about his failing business. I took a deep breath. You picked the wrong sister to bully, Marcus. I'm not backing down. I called James and Claire. It was time to fight back. Java Junction was buzzing with morning customers when Daniel arrived. Tall with salt and pepper hair, he looked nothing like the confident business partner in the company photos. I brought the financial records you asked for. Daniel slid a flash drive across the table. These don't match what Marcus submitted to our investors. Claire joined us, setting down her laptop. I'm a forensic accountant. Mind if I take a look? Please do. Something's been off for months. While Claire worked her magic, I showed Daniel the loan documents from Dad. He borrowed $300,000 from your father and never paid it back. That's just what I know about. There could be more. Claire looked up from her laptop. Oh, there's more, all right. Marcus has been moving company funds into personal accounts. And these investor reports? Pure fiction. He's showing growth when you're actually down 40% year over year. Daniel's face went pale. I could go to jail for this. I signed those reports. Not if you didn't know. But we need to expose him before he drags you down too. The annual Mitchell Walsh Client Appreciation event is next Friday. All our investors will be there. Perfect. I pulled out my phone. I'm calling Aunt Olivia. Later that afternoon at Olivia's house, she handed me a dusty box from her attic. Your grandmother kept everything. Letters, records, even recordings of family meetings. We found cassette tapes from 15 years ago. Family discussions about inheritance after Grandpa died. Listen to this. Olivia pressed play on her old cassette player. A younger Marcus's voice filled the room. As the oldest grandson, I should get the lake house. It's my birthright. Grandma's stern reply. That's not how this family works, Marcus. Your sense of entitlement is concerning. He hasn't changed a bit, I muttered. There's more. Olivia pulled out yellowed papers. These are complaints from business partners before he teamed up with Daniel. 3 failed ventures, all with the same pattern. Marcus mismanaging funds, then blaming others. Back at my apartment, Claire, Daniel, and I formed our battle plan. The event starts at 7, Daniel explained. Marcus always gives a state of the company address at 8. I'll have the real financial reports ready to distribute, Claire said. Side-by-side comparisons with what he's been showing investors. I've contacted everyone Marcus has wronged financially, I added. They'll all be there. including 2 former business partners. What about the legal notice about your inheritance? Daniel asked. James is preparing a formal response with evidence of Dad's competency when he signed the will. Plus, I've got recordings of Marcus's threatening calls. He'll try to discredit you, Claire warned. Let him try. I've got 15 years of his lies documented right here. I held up the flash drive Olivia had given me, now containing digitized versions of everything. The loans, the complaints, the recordings. Friday night, it all comes out. Every lie, every manipulation, every cent he's stolen. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. Changed your mind yet, little sister? I didn't respond. In 3 days, he'd have his answer. Friday night arrived. The Mitchell Walsh Client Appreciation Event was held at the Grand Meridian Hotel, all crystal chandeliers and champagne flutes. I spotted Marcus working the room, all smiles and handshakes like a politician. You ready for this? Claire squeezed my arm, looking stunning in a black dress that screamed business and revenge in equal measure. As ready as I'll ever be. Daniel approached, nodding slightly. Everything's set. I swapped his presentation slides with the real numbers. The projector is queued up. At exactly 8 p.m., Marcus tapped his glass for attention. Ladies and gentlemen, valued investors and friends, welcome to our annual appreciation event. I positioned myself near the back exit as he launched into his speech about unprecedented growth and record-breaking returns. And now, I'd like to show you our projections for the coming year. The screen behind him flickered, but instead of his doctored charts, real financial statements appeared, showing massive losses and depleted accounts. There seems to be a technical... Marcus fumbled with the remote. Daniel stepped forward. No technical error, Marcus. These are the actual numbers you've been hiding from me and our investors. The room erupted in confused murmurs. Marcus's face turned scarlet. This is ridiculous. Someone has tampered with my presentation. Like you tampered with company funds? I stepped forward, holding up a folder. I have bank statements showing transfers from company accounts to your personal offshore accounts. One of the investors stood up. Is this true? Of course not. Marcus loosened his tie. My sister is trying to slander me because of a family disagreement. A family disagreement? I opened another folder. You mean this legal notice claiming my inheritance because you were born first? Or these recorded threats? I pressed play on my phone. Marcus's voice filled the room. Drop this now, or I'll make your life a living hell. James emerged from the crowd. As Richard Mitchell's attorney, I can confirm the will is legitimate and legally binding. These intimidation tactics are actionable offenses. Former business partner Elena Rodriguez stepped forward. He did the same to me 3 years ago. Blamed me for financial mismanagement when he was the one stealing. This is absurd. Marcus knocked over a champagne glass. You're all conspiring against me. The police are already investigating, Daniel announced. I filed a formal complaint this morning. The room descended into chaos. Investors stormed out, phones already to their ears, calling attorneys. Marcus stood alone at the podium, his empire crumbling around him. 3 weeks later, Marcus was facing criminal charges for fraud and embezzlement. His business collapsed overnight. The restraining order I filed kept him from contacting me. Then came the text. Can we talk? I'm sorry for everything. We're still family. I replied simply, we're related by blood. That doesn't make us family. I moved into Dad's house, my house now, and donated Marcus's childhood bedroom furniture to charity. Claire helped me paint the walls. How does it feel? She asked, roller in hand. I looked around at the home that was rightfully mine, thinking of Dad and the lesson he'd taught me through all this. Stand your ground. It feels like justice. What would you do if your sibling tried to steal your inheritance and then later apologized? Would you reject them completely like Scarlett did? Or would you give them another chance? Is blood relation enough to forgive serious betrayal? Or are some actions unforgivable even from family? If you enjoyed this revenge story, please hit the like button to help others find it too. Subscribe to our channel for more stories about standing up to toxic people and finding justice. Share your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you would have done in Scarlett's situation.